War is the focus of the entire world. It is a big pain in all hearts. It's a big worry in all minds. Geologists, especially, understand the reason and the motive for all these wars. In fact, indirectly, unwittingly, geologists are perhaps responsible for these wars targeted on natural resources, be it Ukraine, be it Iran, be it Iraq, be it Venezuela, be it anywhere, even our northeast and Ladakh. But now, in this war, it's no longer national interest of peace, fear of nuclear weapons being used. That's all humbug. That's actually utter fallacy and hypocrisy. But now, in addition to so-called national greed, I would say, I won't call it national interest, I would call it national greed of one power and another power. The tweet or the statement, angry statement on X, earlier called Twitter, of His Excellency Sir Donald Trump, the Honorable President of United States. I couldn't believe, I thought his X had been hacked. The abuse, the vulgar abuse, the anger for a huge nation in the tweet, the threat. It didn't look like at all that a successor of Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, Eisenhower, Barack Obama was using this language on his official platform. Be it as it may, Mother Nature took millions of years to create these fossil reserves of solar energy. Be it coal or oil or gas, this is all dependent on this solar energy being trapped by Mother Nature. The time at which these reserves were created, there was no trace of this pygmy in nature called the man. Today, with a bloated head and a greedy heart, full of lust for power, money, resources, there was these continents, these states, the lines that divide the nations. One couldn't even imagine this. That was when the oil was created. It was a period of global warming, sea level rise, and that's how this oil in the Middle East came. It happened in the late dinosaurian time, most probably, but largely the Earth history is full of global warming, sea level rise. Sea levels today are the lowest ever in Earth history. But the madness of man is the highest ever, the meanest ever in the political history of this planet. We saw 2 world wars. We are on the verge of seeing a deadly war, and in this war, the persons, the powers who are responsible are not the ones who are the most powerful and responsible, but the most greedy, the most crazy, and the most callous and inhuman. I'm naming no country. There is no dearth of. What happened in Ukraine is shocking, and it still goes on. What happened in Palestine was shocking. The terrorism which happened in Israel on 7th October 2023, perhaps, was shocking. But it's time for United Nations to tell the world that it is alive, not dead. It's not extinct. I'm at a loss for words. My heart is full of anguish and sorrow. School kids died. Millions of homes have been killed. We have a huge solid waste disposal logistic problem across Palestine, across Israel, across Iran, across Ukraine. Development. Is it called development? I wish we were living in the world which we call today medieval world. In that world, there was no tap water. There was no desalination. There were no gas deposits which could be blown up. There was no oil which nations chased and killed millions and millions. But the words used by the most honorable President of United States of America is my focus. If I were in his position, I would have apologized for that language. Way back, his predecessor, Nixon, though together with Professor Henry Kissinger, used foul words against our Prime Minister, Mrs. Gandhi, but that was in a closed door room, in their mutual discussions, in the frustration at their failure to influence or browbeat Mrs. Gandhi. Henry Kissinger lived long enough to see the exposure of those dialogues, which I'm told in White House are recorded for posterity. He was graceful enough to say, I never knew that I will live to see this exposure, but I'm ashamed and I apologize. That apology came too late. Mrs. Gandhi was no more. People sitting in these high chairs, acting irresponsibly with greed and lust for more resources and more resources and more resources, is enough. But to make false excuses of preventing some country going nuclear itself is such a great hypocrisy. Irresponsible nations with nuclear weapons, I won't name any, but there are. Irresponsible nations with undeclared nuclear weapons, well, there's no dearth of them. Attempt at grabbing uranium in some raid suddenly at any country is the stupidest and the most hazardous misadventure ever. Any mishap would mean the end of the world. Pollution, radiogenic pollution forever. We had Chernobyl, we had in Pennsylvania, that was accidental. What can go wrong will go wrong. Already, the risk of an angry, mad leader throwing nuclear weapons at an adversary nation will always exist. But trying to grab and rob uranium, take it away from a country which could have made nuclear weapons long back but has declared that it doesn't believe in mass killings. It had already said that take away our uranium, no problem. Hold peace talks, then declare war. Undeclared war, suddenly spring a war. The less said, the better. President Trump somehow or other holds in his possession a Nobel Peace Prize. That Peace Prize in his possession, gifted by a Nobel laureate from a neighboring country, should be enough to inspire him, guide him, and give him the courage to be a statesman of the level of Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Mandela. Statesmen are remembered. Warmongers, greedy leaders, mad with power, are always, they go into the garbage bin of history. I pray to God to give wisdom and power to all who are involved in this war. Let every country live in peace and tranquility. Let every country grow. Let every country help other country. And let's erase the suspicion. Let's erase the fear. Let's erase the greed. Geological resources are for the entire humanity. Let's care and share. Let's not try to grab. There's no end to greed, but there is some end to this war. Can it be the last war we're having? In my 70 or so years when I've grown, I have rarely seen a moment when there was not some bloody war in this corner or that corner of the world. I'm sure in such a situation, India can have a great role. India is the land of Gandhi, land of Nehru, land of Lal Bahadur Shastri. South Africa, the land of Nelson Mandela could have a role. US itself, the land of Martin Luther King, should have a great role. God bless. God bless humanity. God bless those to be rid of their anger and the foul words they write or speak against other nations. God bless also His Excellency Donald Trump, sir.